Hello, uh, welcome to my channel. So I wanted to make a video about what it means to be an empath, since I've been developing my empathic abilities the past few months and using them for the first time, actually consciously using them strategically towards my benefit and the benefit of my clients. And so that's why I felt like the need to share this now that I'm kind of seeing how it all works. I'm sure there's a lot more for me to develop, but I'm already seeing the benefits and I just wanted to share. So as I guess I'm sure a lot of people who consider themselves empaths or sensitive, my whole life I felt like I could see through people. I could tell when people were bullshitting to me or around me since I was a child. And it definitely felt drained around being around people, having a hard time in groups, or even in small companies or one-on-one. Like if I hanged out with a friend one-on-one, I needed like a few weeks to myself. The past few months, recognizing more of who I am, doing my deep meditations, clearing out a lot of karma, and working with a coach, well, actually with a healer and then a coach, recognizing my true purpose. What is my purpose in this lifetime? I think once that is figured out, clear cut, I mean, we wrote it down. This is the statement. This is the clear cut purpose. We narrowed it down word by word, like every word had to be precise. And the thing is, it's like it's something that I've always known. Once we had the clear picture, it was something that I always knew. But throughout, and the way to kind of also reflect on what is my true purpose is to think about, well, what was taken away in your life, throughout your life, like a pattern. Because that's kind of how it works, I think. It's on purpose situations come into our lives when we're young to take things away from us, to then later on encourage, like it's like a push. It's like once you get that opportunity, like I have that opportunity now, it's like nothing is stopping me because I've had those previous experiences of people interfering. So now that I am tuned into my true purpose, not 100%, but it's pretty strong now. I have the confidence now to use also my empathic abilities. So I've been a speech therapist for over 10 years. Of course, the empathic abilities were there, but because of the settings that I was in, I was absolutely miserable. I hated being a speech therapist. Actually, I don't hate it now, but I don't like calling myself a speech therapist. If somebody asks me what do I do, like I say that's what I am officially. But since I tuned in to my true purpose, I kind of just by accident came along a setting in my field that is still kind of developing. There's not a whole lot of security in it. I took a huge risk. I'm not motivated by money anymore. I'm living with my parents, but I finally have the clientele that I always wanted, the type of work that I always wanted. I'm able to use this ability that I've always thought I knew I had it, but I couldn't use it in those settings. Like it was taken away from me from the very beginning when I was still doing my practicums. I had one supervisor, then another, like crushed me. And that's like, that's like an arrow pointing, this is you, because it's taken away. It's meant to motivate. It might not have done it to me. I couldn't be motivated back then because I was really young. I was like 24 when it happened. And it's like, who am I, right? I'm an intern. Who am I here? This is a supervisor with many years of experience, very well known. But that linger, that desire, that the knowledge that, like, yeah, I could have really helped that client if this supervisor would just let me do my thing, because that client actually said it to her face. It was just like, again, another situation to pointing an arrow, this is you. But at the time I couldn't be that. So, and it wasn't like you can never be that, it's just, it's a lesson. And now that I have this platform that was just like presented to me, I am taking advantage of it fully. And I don't have to be afraid because nobody's watching me anymore. I mean, I still stay within my scope of practice, but I have clients that are, I mean, some leave, after a few sessions, probably because they're not ready. But some are sticking it out and coming back, and they're spending quite a bit of money because they're seeing the benefit of it. And I can feel like I can be fully myself here. I'm not going according to any textbook 100%. I mean, I still use references, of course, from my profession. I still would stay within my scope, but it's still all ethical. But I can use my creativity. I can use my instinct. Like if I see my clients the way you see me right now. Like I could barely see my shoulders here. That's how I see most of my clients, and I can sense when they're tensing up their torso. I can sense it right away. Like something shifts a little bit in their posture, and I'm like, "What's going on with your torso?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like I can sense a lot of things. I can guide them to where they have muscle tension, which of course affects their speech. Like I have voice clients, I have stutterers, I have a huge range at this point. Very interesting, very stimulating for me. And it's like a huge motivator, like, to keep going. Like you see that it's helping, and it's just like, finally, like my juices are flowing. And so again, I want to say, like, the empathic abilities, going back to that, is not a burden. Like I see a lot of people talking about how overwhelming it is, like they're picking up on people's emotions, they don't know what to do about it. And the thing is, people need to stop looking at it from a perspective that it's not a disability, it's not a burden, it's a gift. It's a gift from the divine. We're born with it. Not something that you can pop a pill for. It's not a disability. It's not. Being Asperger's is not a disability. How do we like turn into all these labels into disability? Like there needs to be treatment and there needs to be medication for it. How about a development instead? So instead of looking at it like, what can I do to help myself? What can I do to develop it further? If you're picking up on people's emotions, that's huge. You can help them. But before you can help somebody, you gotta know how to help yourself. Because of course, since I pick up on my clients' emotions, all that, of course it affects me. So I need to retreat on my time off and get it out of me. It can't stay inside. I need to use my breathing, meditations, visualization to get it all out of me. I need to see what it might be triggering inside of me. If a client's story that they're sharing with me in some way, like a client today told me about you know, they're from a culture where there's arranged marriage and he has Asperger's or whatever. You know, how does that, and then, you know, that the concept of arranged marriage like triggers some things in me. I don't come from a culture with arranged marriage, but I do come from a culture with like a huge obsession of marriage at a young age. So we don't get arranged, but there's a lot of people trying to set you up constantly, and it's like I mean I was set up like 3 times with the assistance of this one woman, and then she's like, well, what's wrong with any of them? Like, one guy was overweight, one guy was dirty, one guy was too young. And it's like, I'm supposed to pick one of them. I'm like, so it's like this pressure. When I went to, and sometimes we go to a matchmaker. We come from a Jewish culture, so matchmaker. So, and again, that pressure, like, what was wrong with this guy? Nothing, he wasn't the one. That's it. So like that, the memories of that triggered me, of course. So it's my responsibility to sit with that and get it all out of me, because I need to stay objective as a therapist and as a person. Like, I can't, like this, my client was asking for my advice how to handle dating, this like how to talk about his condition or his diagnosis on a first date in his culture that doesn't recognize these. And I do come also from a culture that doesn't recognize these type of diagnoses and or a situation, like they don't exist. So of course a part of me was triggered. It's my responsibility. I need to make sure that I get it all out of me before the next session, to make sure that I always stay objective, that I don't put myself, me, the vulnerable me, into that session so I can serve my client. So of course there are triggers, but you can always deal with them. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say is being empathic is not a burden. It's not a disability. You can tremendously help others. That's why you have it. But in order to do that, you have to help yourself first. You need to know how to deal with triggers. You need to identify them and release them. And you need to become attuned to your true purpose. If your job is triggering the crap out of you, maybe you're not in the right place. And that's okay. Like, a lot of people are like grabbing onto these jobs thinking that, well, it pays the bills, it's hard to get a job, so I gotta hold on to this. And the truth is, when you align to your true purpose, to your truth, the job finds you. How is it that during quarantine, epidemic, and everything that's going on, I took a risk? I said, the hell with, I could have had a school contract, and I hate doing school contracts because, yeah, all of that energy, especially with everything that's happening right now, that it's affecting the schools, all of that energy would have just came at me, and my actual talents and gifts and what I want to do for my clients would have been like completely suppressed, and that's not in my highest benefit. I'm useless in that setting. So I took a risk. And I did let go. I do make less money than I would have if I just took that contract. I told my employer that I don't want it anymore, and the clients came to me. The opportunities came to me. It took time. It's not overnight, so you have to figure out how to modify it to tune in what really matters. Do you want to stay miserable? So I see a lot of people like staying in jobs. The schools right now are really hard. People are miserable, and it's like they're holding on to their pensions or their benefits, and it's like, you can buy benefits. I buy. You can buy a retirement fund. What's the big deal here? I mean, if like, because your insurance, you're paying less through an employer, because they're paying you less. Like the money doesn't come from thin air. The pension money doesn't come from thin air. That's your tax money that's being like reshuffled. So that means they're paying, your salary is less, so that that money can go into the insurance or the pension. So it's like, why not be motivated to follow what's in your heart in a smart way, of course. And then the money's going to come to you. The money comes to you. Is that like, a lot of people have trouble understanding that once you align towards what you want, what is true to you, the money, the job, the situation comes to you. You don't come to it. I mean, like, this is like 100%. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not, I'm not trying to create like a la la land. I'm not a motivational coach or anything like that. I'm somebody who has done it. It comes to you. The opportunities come to you once you align to your truth. It's like, I don't know, like something you're twisting, like to tighten. The more you twist to get to the firmness, whatever the tightness, the lock, the more it becomes strong. And once it finally clicks, you are your truth. So I'm not 100% there, but I'm pretty strong. And I'm saying to anybody who would watch this, the moment you clicks, to identify your truth, that's it. You're unstoppable. It comes to you. I mean, I swear, like, the moment I did the work with my coach and we made that statement of my true purpose, my clientele changed. Like, these clients just started popping up like mushrooms, and they're all like, a lot of them are the same. I didn't have that before. They're coming to me because they're resonating on my frequency now, like, because I can relate. And it's not because I advertise. I don't, because my employer advertises, and they don't advertise that, oh yeah, we have a therapist that can help you become more attuned to yourself, or teaches breathing strategies. Like, no, all they're in their mind, like, I have a hard time talking, I have a hard time communicating, organizing my thoughts. This is generally what they come with, or they have a voice issue or stuttering or whatever. And then once the universe brings them to me because our frequencies align, the strategies or the thought process that I start working on with them, it's like they never considered. And most of the time they agree. Sometimes it's not, sometimes they discontinue, but really early, but it's not because I was wrong. It's because of either they're not ready, or financial, or whatever, life circumstances. Anything happens, but a lot of times it's been kind of the ones that stick it out there. Even the ones that only do 2 sessions, they're usually in agreement. It's usually because within a session or 2, I help them see things in a different way and help them recognize that the issue that they think they have is connected to something else. And then I had 2 clients that said, yeah, I'm gonna go seek like a counselor, a therapist, because I see that I help them see that the condition, that the issue that they thought was isolated, and it's not. So they might come back, they might not, but if it's a bigger issue, why I can't work on all those? Like, I don't even want to. I want to stay within my scope. Like, I'm not in the business of keeping clients. I'm in the business of serving my clients, serving my purpose. That's what I was put on earth to do. whether it's 2 sessions or 10, doesn't matter to me. I served. I lived out my true purpose. So I would encourage anybody to start this work, because it's, if you're an empath, you're meant to serve. You're meant to use that ability, not hide it, not hide away with it, not shield yourself. Use it, enjoy it. It's great. Like once you I can see it's like I start feeling like something, like I just get a visual. Like sometimes like I can sense like I think my client is like tightening in the middle of the back, and I'm like, how's your back doing? They're like, yeah, it's tight. Like I can just see it, I can sense it. Like, I mean, that's extraordinary, right? Like it's just to be able to help the clients so much like that, and then because it's the energy transfers. You help one person release that heavy energy, it that energy comes back some way. So yeah, reach out to me if you want to know more. Maybe I can help people meet their true purpose in a way. Maybe connect to my coach or whatever.